Greetings and welcome to a special outdoor episode of Vintage Films. That's right, I got a little bit of a change of venue going and I am outside on my patio. I have my projector and my screen here, and I thought I'm going to watch a movie outside today. Now it's early October and the weather is starting to change. It is getting chilly outside, and the season for being outside and watching films is kind of fading fast, let's put it that way. And so I wanted to get one in this season, and I thought, why not kick off the spooky season with one of the Universal monster movies, and I chose The Invisible Man. It is a great one. It's one of my favorites. Now, why am I outside again? I did a video recently about drive-ins, so check out that video. And one thing I didn't mention in that video was just how cool it is to watch movies outside. There's something about being outside under the stars. It's just its own experience, and that's what's great about a drive-in. There's lots of things that are great about a drive-in, but that's one of them. And that's one of the reasons why I like to sit out on my patio on occasion and watch movies outside. Now, again, we are outside. There's neighborhood noises. You hear dogs barking. There's trains in the background. There are cars going by. So, bear with me with that. It's all part of the being outside experience. But again, I got the Clipboard of Creeps today, and we are looking at The Invisible Man from 1933. Again, one of the Universal monster greats. I'm actually wearing my Universal monster shirt under my hoodie here because, like I said, it is chilly. It is October and the sun is going down. Ironically enough, The Invisible Man is not featured on this shirt, but it occurred to me he's the Invisible Man, so maybe he's there and he's invisible. Maybe. Alright, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this guy on and watch it, and when I'm done, I'll come back with the Clipboard of Creeps. We'll talk about a couple of neat, nifty things I looked up. Probably hear some dogs barking, but in the meantime, I got my Twizzlers here that I actually picked up the last time I was at a drive-in theater. I didn't eat them all. I have some left over. I'm going to munch on those. We're going to watch The Invisible Man, and we're going to have some fun. Stay tuned.
Great, you know who I am, aren't you? All right, I'll show you. There's a souvenir for you. And one for you. I'll show you who I am and what I am. Look. Take your bag and walk straight down the street. I'll guide you. Right outside the pub until the books come out. Put your bag and come back to the car and wait for me.
Wow, that is our film, The Invisible Man from 1933. As you can see, it has gotten much darker out here since I first started recording because it is fully night out. But that is part of the fun, watching a movie under the stars at night. I love it. Alright, so again, like I said, I got the Clipboard of Creeps here. Gonna just talk about a couple of quick things and then we'll get out of here. But of course, this starred Claude Rains, who did a lot of the Universal monster movies. He did The Invisible Man. He was in one of the Phantom of the Opera movies. Of course, he did other classics like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Casablanca. Did all kinds of cool stuff. He was pretty predominant. Then there's Gloria Stewart, and she was actually the Elder Rose in Titanic in 1997. So she had this role, and then many years later was in that big hit movie. So I think that's kind of cool to note. And then, of course, there's Henry Travers, who played Clarence in It's a Wonderful Life. Then, of course, we got Una O'Connor, who was Jenny Hall, the lady who ran the boarding house and pretty much stole the show in every scene she was in. She was hilarious. So, going to the trivia things, the first thing I picked up was that during the filming of Una O'Connor's scenes, the director, James Whale, was cracking up the whole time. He was a huge fan of hers, and he just thought she was hilarious, and he had a hard time keeping it together during her scenes, and I can see that. She is very funny, great comic relief in this. Another thing I found was that Mark Hamill, when he was putting together his take on the Joker in the animated Batman series from the 90s, he actually looked to Claude Rains' performance in this film as inspiration for how to play the Joker. And I like that because Claude Rains definitely has that kind of manic personality in this film, and I can totally see how Hamill would have picked up on that. That's a neat thing to note. So, The Invisible Man 1933, what are your thoughts on that? Personally, I think it's one of the best of the Universal Monsters box set. Of course, now I'm always referring to that in the, I think there's about 6 or 7 movies that make that up. It's Frankenstein, Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Invisible Man, Mummy, you know, those core movies that make up the Universal Monster kind of trifecta of main monsters. This film, in my opinion, is one of the best of that bunch. James Whale was a great director, and his take on the special effects were amazing, especially in this, because there's always just, even from today's standards, I'm watching it and I'm thinking to myself, those effects hold up great. The items floating across the screen, and Claude Rains takes off his bandage and his face is gone, and there's doors are opening and closing, and just the effects are great. And I also kind of thought to myself, this came out in 1933, and that was also the same year that King Kong came out. So I gotta wonder if audiences in 1933, they saw this, they saw King Kong, and I bet they were just blown away, because you gotta think, this was only a few years after the silent era ended and the talking pictures began. This was only a couple of short years after that, and here they are doing these amazing special effects that hold up great decades later. Just something that I just think is really interesting, and something I really appreciate about this film. And it's a good quick watch, and it's one of my favorite classics from this era, and it's a great one. So I'd like your opinion. What do you think of The Invisible Man 1933? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I'm going to get out of here because it's a little chilly. It's the October night. Probably the last one of these porch watches I'm going to do for the season, but I had to put one on camera because they're just so much fun. I will be back doing that again next year. But we will be back here on the channel very soon, back inside, to do some more reviews. And until then, have a good one.